All right, today we're diving into something that feels like it's straight out of the future. We're talking about a tool that promises to take a simple idea, that thing you just thought of, and turn it into a real, working app in just a few minutes. Yeah, you heard that right. This could totally change the game for how we build software. So, how does it all work? Let's get into it.
So let me just ask you this. What if you could build a whole app with just one sentence? Seriously, think about that for a second. No more messing around with complicated setups, no more spending weeks or even months hunched over a keyboard coding. Just one single sentence. It sounds a bit like science fiction, right? Like you're just speaking something into existence?
Well, guess what? It's not sci-fi anymore. An AI can actually do this. And that's what we're digging into today. Replit AI. It's the tool that's making this whole one-sentence app thing a reality. Now you're probably wondering, how in the world is this even possible? To really get it, we first have to understand the environment, the home where this AI lives.
Okay, so what is Replit AI? To get what makes it so powerful, you have to look at its environment. See, it's not some separate program you download. It actually lives inside a platform called Replit, and believe me, that's the secret sauce to all of its power.
For years, for decades really, starting a coding project has been a total pain. You got to buy the right computer, install all the programming languages, then the right code editors, then configure servers. It's a huge, frustrating process. Replit just throws all of that out the window. It gives you a complete, ready-to-go coding environment right there in your web browser. No installs, no configuration headaches. You literally just open a tab and start coding. It's that simple.
And this is where the real magic happens. So unlike a lot of other AI coding tools out there where you're just constantly copying and pasting code back and forth, Replit AI is different. It's baked right in. It lives inside your project. It can see all of your files, and it can directly write, edit, and even run your code all by itself. I mean, that is a total game changer.
So really, the best way to think about this thing isn't just as another tool in your toolbox. It's more like a digital partner, a collaborator. It's designed to be right there with you in the creative process, like an assistant that's always on, ready to help you build whatever you're dreaming up.
In the world of software, there's this really cool practice called pair programming. It's basically where two developers sit side by side at one computer to tackle problems together. Well, Replit AI is built to be your digital pair programmer. It's like having an expert sitting next to you, ready to help you brainstorm, write code, and smash bugs at every single step.
Okay, so the star of the show here is something called the Replit Agent. Here's how it works. You give it a simple prompt, and then you just let it go to work. It doesn't just spit out a block of code. No, it plans out the entire project. It creates the file structure, it writes both the front-end and the back-end code, it installs all the software packages you'll need, and then, this is the part that just blows my mind, it actually runs the app, finds its own mistakes, and then corrects itself. It's a completely autonomous cycle. Just incredible.
But that agent feature? That's just the beginning. The whole platform is basically an AI toolbox packed with other amazing stuff. You've got inline autocomplete that predicts and finishes your code as you're typing. Like a super smart spell check for code. Then there's explain code. You can highlight some crazy complex code that you don't understand, and it'll translate it into plain, simple English for you. And maybe the best part for anyone who's ever coded, AI debugging. When your app crashes, it analyzes the error and suggests the exact fix. I mean, think of the hours of headache that saves.
Okay, so we've covered what this thing is and how it works. But that brings us to the most important question, right? The why. What can you actually build when you have an AI coding partner? Let's get into some real-world stuff.
Honestly, the possibilities here are pretty much endless. Let's say you're an entrepreneur with the next big idea. Well, you can build a prototype website in minutes, not weeks. Or maybe you're a hobbyist who wants to build a fun Discord bot for your community. You can create one that runs 24/7 in the cloud without ever having to think about servers. And if you're a student just learning to code, you basically have a personal tutor on call ready to help you the second you get stuck.
And I want to stress just how simple we're talking. You don't need to be a coding genius. You just describe what you want in plain English. Something like this: build me a dog walking service landing page. From that simple request, the AI agent can build a complete, functional website that you can share with the world. It's wild.
All right, so at this point, you're probably thinking, this sounds amazing, but what's the catch? What does it cost? Let's talk about the price of getting access to this whole new world of coding.
So Replit uses what's called a freemium model. There's a free plan, and it's great. It gives you a fantastic online coding environment. But the real AI magic, the stuff we've been talking about, is unlocked in their paid plan, which is called Replit Core.
That's where you get the unlimited access to that powerful AI agent, plus other really important stuff like making your projects private and getting faster performance. And that key number to keep in your head is about $20 a month. Yeah, for about the cost of a few fancy coffees, you unlock that entire suite of AI tools. You're basically hiring a full-time digital programming partner for $20.
Okay, so for $20 a month, you get this incredibly powerful assistant. But you know the old saying, right? With great power comes great responsibility. And using an AI to write your code absolutely introduces some new risks that you really need to be aware of.
And the number one most critical risk you need to understand is how you manage your secrets. Now, secrets is just a coder's term for the digital keys to your app. Things like passwords, API keys, all that really sensitive data.
Look, there is a right way and a very wrong way to handle these secrets. Let me be crystal clear. If you write your password directly in the code of a public project, it is not a matter of if it will be stolen, but when. Automated bots are constantly scanning for this stuff. The only safe way to do this is to use Replit's built-in Secrets Vault. It's designed specifically to keep your private keys secure and completely separate from the code itself.
And there are a couple of other big rules of the road to keep in mind. First, remember that the AI's main goal is to make the code work. Its job isn't to make it Fort Knox secure. It will always choose function over fortification. So that means you are the final line of defense. You have to review the code it writes. And second, there's this idea of vendor lock-in. Basically, if you build a huge complex app entirely on Replit, it can be a real headache to move it somewhere else later on. It's just something to think about as your projects get bigger.
Okay, so let's zoom out and look at the big picture. What are the main things to remember? 1. Replit AI is a coding partner that lives right in your browser. 2. It can literally build entire apps from a single sentence. 3. To get the full power, it'll cost you about $20 a month. And 4, and this is crucial, you still have to be careful. You have to protect your secrets and always review the code that the AI generates.
And all of this leaves us with a really fascinating, kind of philosophical question to chew on. When an AI is your co-pilot, who's actually the author? As these tools get more and more powerful, we're not just redefining what it means to code. We're kind of redefining creativity itself. Something to think about.